Hello everybody, welcome back to Wappelville. We're gonna do some, I think, interior glow on this Banshee. Now you see this blue right here, we're gonna go blue, but I just wanted to show you this, because again, here's some interior glow for you. This is an arch villain figure. It's another lazy Squire Games. Hey Armored Wolf, this is gonna be a reverse pre-glaze right here. So this is actually a very light pre-glaze right now. And we're kind of going opposite world right here. So Blades, gee whiz, that's going all the way up to you. Wow, that's because that also was I don't know. I guess maybe the western suburbs got more than we did here, something like that. So sorry that you're getting it out there too. So Kelly Goblet, nice to see ya. So Crazy Wolf, I hope that your day slash week was a good one. Now again, we're trying for sort of that interior glow here. What does that mean? It means we're actually starting out with our lighter colors, and then we're going to dry brush those darker colors over the top of this. M-Tellies, did you see the, I know Landraz, you saw the Spirit Hosts. Crazy Wolf, you probably saw him too, right? Remember we started out those spindly little things from GW, and we actually started out with the white. Well, actually, here's the other thing that's kind of on the closer side to that would be, well, this, the Balrog, kind of started out the same way. Now, and again, that's why I pulled this thing out, because you can see, right, you have those lighter colors there on the interior and the darker stuff on the outside. That's what we're looking to do here. So thanks so much, Kelly. Yeah, like I said, I'll try for Monday. Now here we're going to wipe this stuff off. Not because we're looking for a zenithal, but this is where some of the darker stuff is going to go. So I'm basically getting rid of this, so that when we dry brush the darker stuff over the top, it sticks nice and easy. So I'm telling you, I hope that all of the, sorry, I'm spacing out, MetaZoo, that's it, MetaZoo, sorry about that. So everybody please check out the hack and slash miniatures there. Again, I have some printed out, but, well, we'll see. Yeah, Kelly, I wasn't able to film last night or the night before. Normally I film stuff on Tuesdays Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The Thursday stream ended up being practically, well, like this, almost in the middle of the night. So Sarge, how you doing? I'm not sure if you know any more about your possible future situation there. Alright, so I'm going to do one more round. One more round of this. Again, just to get rid of some of that. Take that away. Now, we have our fluorescent blue. This is the homemade fluorescent blue, wherever that went. This was on one of our Patreon videos, if you remember that. So we used one of these containers because, first of all, they really don't like to spill. They also have a brush in here, so you can get that on your palette so much easier. Hey there, Silent Seth. How you doing? So a release party. Set April in New York City. So M-Tellies, is that your next event that you're going to? Now we're going to grab some of these right here. One of these filbert brushes. Yeah, I guess we'll actually already start going into our floral blue here. Now we need to make sure that there's not a whole bunch of paint on this brush. So Silent Seth, I hope that you are doing well. Again, we're trying to get paint off of that brush here. So M-Tellies, if you want to post some links to that or whatever, I'm sure that would be fabulous. So sorry if the voice is still messed up. I did get some new cough drops, and I think these are a little bit more effective than the ones that I was trying to use for the longest time. Oh, by the way, there's going to be some glazes over the top of this, like our flamey stuff here. Right, where we take, well, in this case it was the Brilliant Yellow Pale. That's what we used. Yeah, Kelly Goblin, I'm hoping that maybe Monday. It's not like well, I could have the thing prepped by Monday. It's just whether or not we'll be able to stream. I'm kind of hoping that maybe this thing that's going on right now, maybe we're able to turn the tide on that over the next couple of days. So here again, this is that sneaky, cheeky, dry brush kind of thing. And hopefully what that starts to do is reveal the light in the interior. And we're just going to go a little bit darker each time. This is what we did with those spirit hosts. Again, it's what we did. Same thing with these parts of this guy here. Let me see. So I think we're all caught up. So yeah, I think I printed out at least 4 of the miniatures. Because, well, I was certainly thinking of more than one stream. We'll certainly do more than one stream with them, that's for sure. Again, this is just a super simple just the driver. You can already start to see how it's having a bit of an effect already. Let's not forget down here. So that's why I just shoved all the lighter tones in there to start with, so that we can start to do just this right here. And of course, all the while it's mixing, because instead of the color getting darker, it's actually getting lighter as we go along. That's not what usually happens, is it? Alright, so Seth, wasn't sure if you had also well, hopefully everybody that was at Adepticon is still doing okay in terms of the whole Concred thing, because the list just keeps getting longer and longer and longer of people that have either gotten the regular version or the deluxe version, not just at Adepticon but other events. So Adepticons really seem to be quite the Nurgle event right there. Yeah, Blades, ironically enough, Blades, Painterly Git, he showed up just at the end of the stream. And it was one of those situations where Kathy woke up, well, after having a hard time falling asleep, she woke up again at about 1:30, something like that. So again, for all the people that were at Adepticon, hopefully you're still doing alright. So I think you can start to see just how simple this can be, right? It doesn't have to be complex. This is a bit easier with the oils than the acrylics for a couple of reasons. First, all the while you can starting to get some of that lighter color on the brush. That's one thing. Other reason, I can do more of the let some of that capillary action get down into the deepest crevices for the lightest lights. With the acrylics, it's just not going to do that. Believe me, it's not going to do that. Sarge, that's what they call it. I didn't see it as that, but the more I start painting it here, the more I realize, well, I guess you could say it's sort of a banshee. I mean, again, that's what they called it. I was like, I'm not quite so sure that's actually a banshee there, but once I started to see the wispy nature of this and some of the more ethereal parts, and I thought, well, I guess so. But the first thing I thought of were the GW Spirit hosts that we painted a while back on the stream. Actually, probably a year and a half ago. So MTOA says that there was a couple of casualties there too. Seth, I'm glad that you didn't catch anything there. Actually, Seth, I just got an email that AK Interactive has a whole bunch of new products out, I guess. Actually, Landress, did you get that message too? I didn't look. Hey, Grand Oracle, how you doing? So Blades, I guess, I don't know how warm it got there. I'm not sure if that's what's causing the the difference there. I think here there was about a 30-ish. Well, it wasn't really right at that moment. All right, let's get that down here. Let's get that piece of. There's a bit of piece of foam there that we had to get rid of. So I think you can see how this is starting to evolve here. Now, oh, let's get some of that here. So get Kelly, if you're gonna be if you're gonna be in the chat for a little while or something like that, just every so often, if you want to post your links in there to that, I'll see that and I'll try and get people to check that out for you. Here we are. We're just about to actually, not sure what that is. That's probably some kind of a statue thing there. This we're actually going to have to put object source lighting on. So that is actually going to get, well, darker there. There we are. And now we need more over here too. Wow, that's fantastic. A bit more here. Now we also remember we want to actually, well, I'd love to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 other miniatures to be working on here at the same time. But we have this one, and that's all that I had prepped for now. So we'll just have to work on this one. And we're going to have to go down here, I think, to, again, let that paint set everywhere else. Do we have some Van Dyke Brown? And a little bit of indigo. And that will just go over here. Well, let's get some more thinner into that. And we'll just try to get a little bit of shadow going there. Everything else basically is just going to be illuminated by our Banshee. So we're just going to try and get some measure of dark down in here, and then just leave that be for a while. Maybe out here on the edge we'll do that too. And let's do some more here. So now I think we've got just about every single area on this thing covered. It happens fast. We're 17 minutes in, by the way. So let's say you have a whole army of spirit hosts or something like that. Basically 15 minutes a figure. I think people could get an army done reasonably fast that way. Let me try that. You know what? First things first. Let me use this as a blending brush here. So I see some of these rougher areas here. This is the thing that the acrylics can't do. So see here? I saw some hard edges there. So we did something like this. Like so. And that. Some more here. So again, it's kind of going inside out here. But right now I'm just utilizing this just to soften some of these edges for right now. And then we'll come back over the top of this for some even darks here. We've got even more Prussian blue. It's basically Prussian blue and the fluorescent blue. So both very intense colors, and neither one of them is really an opaque. So that's also a little bit of an advantage. Actually, I'm going to grab this smaller filbert brush right here. Maybe a little bit more of the... This is, oh, by the way, the Williamsburg. The Williamsburg version of the Prussian blue. If you remember, that's the first artificial First artificial pigment ever made. Leave it to the Prussians to do that. Oh, yeah, we never really did get much of the darker blue down here. So you can see the difference that that starts to make. And that, we have to keep this closer to the edges. Gotta keep this closer to the edges. Just like those flames, right? I'll see people doing flames, and the end of the flame is black. And I'm thinking, well, that's, when you look at actual flames, they don't even get dark red on the end, much less black. So just something to keep in mind. Yeah, Grand Oracle. There was a stream that I did, like I said, boy, oh boy, it was a long time ago. Heck, actually, it might have been a YouTube live. I think it was a stream, and we did 3 spirit hosts. And this was the same exact approach right here. Now, I've done this with the acrylics a bunch of times, certainly, but it's been a while since we've had a chance to do the inside-out object source lighting like this. And again, that arch-villain piece, same way. Ooh. Never did get that down there. More right here. So the more we do this, the more contrast we're going to get. And we haven't gone to the lightest lights yet. That is still something we can do yet. Hey, Red Point, nice to see ya. Everybody, please give Red Point Painting a follow. So Grand Oracle, actually this was something that I did on the Army of the Dead. If you watch the original series with the acrylics, we did something like this with the Army of the Dead. Now, of course, let's see, what did we print out? Oh yeah, we printed out the Dol Amroth, Knights of Dol Amroth, so that we could do sort of a, what do you call it, the, not the Army Showcase series, but the Supplementing Your Army series. This is a Medberry figure right here. I want to try and do that, but with those Printing Goes Ever On miniatures. Oh, gee whiz, we never did get our light down here. Now, so Red Point, what kind of things have you been working on the last few weeks or so? Yeah, the other fun thing that happened today is just I turned off a computer just to make sure nothing bad would happen. And when I turned it on, the monitor doesn't work anymore. Well, it works, but it's all messed up. So if I just left it on, apparently everything would have been fine. It's been unplugged, it's been turned on and off many times, yet it still does not work. So scratch one monitor. That's the other reason why the stream was later, because I went, well, now that's not supposed to be like that. I think I might go, I don't know if I'll add Prussian blue, or indigo to this, because then that's going to super intensify the darks. The other thing I have to do here is be more targeted with both ends, more dark, but also more of the lightest light, because again, we're nowhere near white on this at all. We can still go lighter. We can still go darker also, because, well, that's one of the things about the oils, right? When we did this acrylic thing here, this is the latest tutorial video, we found that with the acrylics, the darkest dark there is sort of a medium, somewhat dark color with the oils. Well, actually, Red Point, if you wanted to show those off, there in the chat, that'd be spectacular. Well, you know me, right? You know how much I love my Easterlings. That will always be my favorite MESBG army. That was the interesting thing to see at Adepticon, that Lord of the Rings was banished to the historical hotel with Warlord and Song of Ice and Fire. That was unexpected. Even Blood Bowl was still in the main facility. I don't know if that's just they're trying to send us a message there. I don't know. But this Saturday, as in tomorrow, there is the new terrain pieces, a couple of Asgilia terrain pieces. Yeah, I'm just going to let that get even darker here out towards the end. Same thing over here. We'll just darken these down. The darker this gets, the lighter the lights get. And, well, actually, this has been very important here. That's been very important. We want to get that paint to stick on there. You can't have a death grip on the brush, right? But right here, yeah, there'll be light and dark here, but we also want to maybe have a couple of different blues in here. So that's why the indigo might just be needed there, because the indigo is more of a greenish blue. Everything we have going now is, well, actually we already have some of that. The radiant turquoise is a greenish blue, right? Because turquoise is green and blue mixed together. And then we've got Prussian blue, which is definitely more of a reddish blue for sure. Now, ironically enough, the fluorescent blue is a tad bit towards the green, I suppose. Oh, actually, hey Blades, were you going to be streaming a couple of times this week? Sorry, I meant to ask you that. It just, again, it's been a bit of a day here. Well, it's been a bit of a week for sure. Hey there, Butternut, how you doing? Nice to see you. I'm going to try and darken this all down here. Also this on the underside too, not just on the top. Something like that. Alright. And again, that is at 26 minutes in. 26 minutes ago, that was just gray primer. And not a whole bunch else now. Let me see what we can start to do here with something that's a lot lighter. I guess I'm going to actually try and get some of this fast matte white out. Where's my... There we go. Just directly apply here some of our thinner to that. Now remember that if I do a pin line wash with this fast matte white here, even though it might be 95% thinner, it's still going to cover whatever's in the deep interior there. If I brush it on, not so much. It's just going to wipe off what's underneath there. But if I do this, if I just do, hey Maze Blitz, nice to see ya. Oh, geez, Blades, sorry that I missed your stream. Again, with everything... Actually, that didn't interrupt your stream, did it? Yeah, Red Point, that is always... That was always I loved that combo. Now, here again, you can already see how much lighter that is. I'm going to try and get some more of the thinner here. Maybe not too much of the paint, but again, what we're trying to do is just let the where's my blending brush? It disappeared here. There it is. There's my blending brush. Hey Katarina, how you doing? Nice to see you. Is there a bench guy in the house? Hey bench guy, nice to see you. Now again, I'm going to just take this and a little bit of tap that there. So see how that really has already changed. It's changed things a bunch here. Let's try and get some light going on in here. That wasn't where that was supposed to go. So nice to see you again, bench guy. There. And again, thanks for everybody that contributed to that. Of course, Lethal Shadows Gaming really they dropped some nice numbers in there, so we appreciate that from Lethal Shadows. which of course then the whole rest of the night I kept, instead of saying lazy square, I kept saying lethal shadows. So bench guy, great to see you back, and I hope that everybody is doing well. I hope everybody had themselves a good Friday, though I think there was a lot of mischief today for folks. Now again, we're going to try and just use that as a pin line wash in a couple areas, and you can really see just how much lighter that gets. So butternut, well, right now there's commissions are all out right now, again with all the stuff that's been going on here. So I haven't done any commission stuff since basically about a year ago because of the situation here. I know I remember you asking about the cosplay stuff. I don't remember what the subject was. Alright, well, there we go. So again, we're just trying to drop in some of these lightest lights in a few areas here. Yeah, we're going to be going with darker blues here too, but first we're going to try and drop in some of these lighter tones. Like down in here, this is where the pin line wash, I think, is going to be really important for this, because again, it's going to be much easier just to get that down in here. White Night Whisper, well, I guess, I mean, ultimately it'd be fantastic if it could be kind of either way, right? Removable from the diorama and can go from base to diorama depending on, well, what he's going to be needed for. Now we've got to get some of our light out here on these things. We also have to get just a little something over here. Now, oops. Meant to actually clean some of that before we grabbed all this, but there, and a little more here, yes, and some right there. Yeah, I'm just going to assume that it's some kind of a statue head right there. Now, if you remember just a second ago, that was all just a bunch of darks. Well, you know, sometimes you just have to get going with those darks, right? Oh, that's one of our Book of Wappel sayings, right? Well, we have to go back to the computer version, which is, when in doubt, make things darker. Because you can highlight things so you're blue in the face. See what I did there? However, eventually you are going to have to make some things darker. So bench guy, thank you so much for all the support. Appreciate that. It makes, like I said, it makes a big difference to us. And thanks to everybody that also contributed to the battle for Kathy. That's one of the reasons why we have a new air conditioner on the way here. Because, well, the ones that we tried to use, they did not work out as we hoped they would. Actually, one of them just doesn't work at all anymore. So we're trying something, well, we're kind of going back to the old way again. So yeah, I mean, it is Friday night, but I've never heard this much plane traffic at 1 o'clock in the morning. And this is, it's very, very noticeable. So they must have delayed a ton of flights. So if anybody's out there waiting on planes, a lot of them are just getting out of here. And we're going to lighten this up too. So 1 hour, 14 minutes ago, there was nothing on here. It was just gray. I mean, it wasn't wasn't all that much different than this colored gray right here. Now let me grab another cough drop if I may. Do I try to go more? Yeah. I'm going to see. I can jug a little more of the light in here. There we are. And again, please check out the hack and slash miniatures right there. It's still up there in the chat. Kelly Goblin posted that. I'm hoping to maybe tomorrow I'll be able to paint one of those, or for sure at least Monday. Who knows? Maybe Monday. Depending on which ones they are, maybe we could try a couple of them. No, okay, see. I spy with my little eye something here I want to get with my blending brush. So this looking a little ragged. No longer ragged now, just a little bit of tap, tap, tap. And this definitely needs to be darker here. So Paint Really Get, there was a number of different files. Unfortunately, I don't remember names of things. If it's Lord of the Rings, I'll remember the name of it. But when it comes to just other general things, I have a huge problem remembering. Like even like the Archvillain, I think this is from the Blood Rain release right here. I think it is. So unfortunately, I don't have the names of the miniatures for you. Boy, bench guy, this house is just really, well, they do absorb the funds. You would think it's kids that absorb the, well, they do, but houses also, they get their hands out there too, and they say, hey, don't forget about me. So yeah, Paint Really Get, unfortunately, I don't know which ones they are. Basically, all I did was I made as many build plates as I could, packed as many of the miniatures on there as I could. Tried to print out ones that also could make for, well, maybe object source lighting on string, because, you know, people like the object source lighting, right? Yeah, I have like a Signum. They asked me to print out a bunch of stuff, and I have to half the time I can't remember sometimes what is Signum and what is somebody else. But Signum, fortunately, is pretty distinctive. Sort of like the old Artisan Guild. The new Artisan Guild looks a little bit more like other things. The old Artisan Guild kind of had its own very much a different look. So hey, Paint Really Get. Now, if you have an idea of when you might be streaming that, if you wanted to share in the chat, you know, well, your info there, and when you might be streaming that. Again, for me, it's doubtful I could get something prepped for tomorrow. It all depends really how the day goes here. If it goes like today, I won't be able to prep anything. If it goes like it had been, well, then I should at least be able to prep something. So again, Blades and Paint Really Get are both going to be painting things. Again, that is from the hack and slash. And actually, Kelly, if you want to post the links again. They got pushed up in the chat just a wee bit. Here, where's my blending brush again? Again, when I want to clean the brush, most of the time, this is the cleaning. It's just a paper towel, and there's no moisture on the brush, because if there's a bunch of, and again, it would be brush cleaner. It would not be the thinner. We don't use the thinner to clean the brushes. Now, right over here, again, just going to take this, smooth some of these things out here. Same thing. See that just a big old line there? Now that has spread it out just a teensy bit to either side. And there again, there is the link tree to the hack and slash. Do we want to go darker there? I'm not so sure about that yet. It's not that I have to decide right now anyways. What I do need to figure out though is also here with the face. Maybe not quite so dark on the nose. So it looks like Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when Paint Really Get is going to try and stream. Where is, well, it looks like that is gone too. I was going to grab one of my new smaller brushes, but those seem to also have disappeared. So let me see if there's one over here. Is there an 18-0? Ah, good. Okay, there's one. Just going to have to do that order from Dick Blick tomorrow. Well, maybe tomorrow. Ah, there we go. Now we've got a little bit more of our light there for the eye. What about around these gemstones here, whatever those things are? Maybe they're just pieces of metal in the crown, I guess. So I love me my 18-0s. I gotta get a whole bunch of these short liners. Again, we have tried other brushes. All other brushes have failed. So we shall continue to use these guys. I mean, it's not like other brushes. Well, there's some that are now just designated as acrylic brushes to keep the wear and tear off of my liner brushes. Let's see what happens with this. Thanks, Armored Wolf. So, Armored Wolf, is there any way... wait a minute, when do... Okay, the Saturday releases, the GW stuff, is that, 7 in the morning, 10 in the morning? Is it the after? I never quite know when the heck they're... Or does it just vary? Is it the same time all the time on those Saturday releases, or are they just kind of... Is it randomized? Let's try to darken these down here. And those two. And then we'll have to probably come back with our blending brush, micro blending brush that is. Now we maybe even, well, not that big old chunk there. Again, sometimes I'll just take some of these paint blobs that are still usable and I'll just transfer them from one palette to another. I'll just chuck the old one away because it's basically nothing but dried paint. We had a big discussion about that last night. Would you say 9 a.m. in the Eastern Time Zone, Armored Wolf? I guess that seems to be the most likely because they're always, I guess, they don't really think about us in the Central or in the out there in your time zone for sure. They usually don't have us in mind, do they? One more batch. There we go. That also, yeah, a little more dark there. And then, oh, on this too. Again, this is our Prussian blue here. There. Now, the lizard man stuff armor, well, that's a ways away, right? I would imagine maybe that happens when the Warhammer 40k 15th edition comes out. Thank you so much, Bench Guy. I think they're just going to skip 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 and just go right to 15th edition. Thank you so much, Bench Guy. Again, it's all good for me. It doesn't matter to me. But I know there's going to be some folks that are just maybe a little bit worried what that might entail. Well, we never did get our darks over, well, sort of dark on the end of these. Just could not get the other brush in there. That's what this is for. And that's, here we go. There's a reason for this. If I've got this, there's no way I can get in there. See all these little tendrils in here? There's no way I can get in there. So here we've got a light grip on the brush. None of this hands on the metal ferrule. We're doing this. So much easier. Also, too, you want that paint to stick there. With the oils, you need that very light brush stroke. Okay. Alright, and let's get some dark down there. Oh, that could also be darker, a little more Prussian blue there. So a June, July release, probably that makes sense. Wow, you know what's scary, Armored Wolf? Now, of course, remember when they used to do the big giant army boxes? And they did them for 40K and for Fantasy. And they were in the $200 and something range, maybe something like that. And I remember getting the Lizardman box in 2003. That was 20 years ago. And the crazy thing is, I still think of those as the new Lizardmen. Yeah, 20 years ago is when that box came out. That's kind of scary. I remember we were at the game store. It was I used basically a store credit from a Blood Bowl season, and we used that towards getting the new lizards. And what? Oh, no. We'll leave just the stuff on the belt to maybe be that darkest of darks. I think this was actually a little bit longer right here. However, it just didn't print very solidly, so I just basically just broke it off and sanded it down. So yeah, I guess we'll have to come up with, well, we have plenty of jungle type stuff that we can use to base the skinks. We'll have to see what other kind of foliage we can do with them. Hey, surface tension, it must be 109 in the morning. And sure enough, it's 109 in the morning. That means there's a surface tension painting there. Surface tension, I hope that you've had yourself a really jolly Friday. And maybe an even jollier Saturday on the way. So, Bench Guy, thank you so much, and have yourself a good night with the kids there. Oh, gee whiz here. Let's take our blending brush to these things. So yeah, surface tension was an hour and 29 minutes. We've been working on this lady right here. It happens fast with the oils, right? Don't blink. Whatever you do, don't blink. You'll miss something. Where's that other blending brush here? Might even have to, remember when we were getting these for the longest time? Might have to snag some more of those as blending brushes too. So thank you so much, Armored Wolf. Yeah, I could swear that those, the old Spirit hosts, those ended up on the YouTube channel somewhere. I mean, all you gotta do is head over to the YouTube channel, type in Spirit Host. Well, you could type in object source lighting. They'll probably show up that way too. Let me see if I can't throw in a little more light over here too. Like this. Oh gee whiz, yeah, that's going to catch some. This rock over here. Surface tension, this was a Monday kind of Friday here. This was definitely a Monday Friday. Sorry that you also had a Monday Friday. Or fun day. No, that sounds like a fun day. So no, that's no good. That is not a good description because it sounds too much like it was a fun day. Well, there was an F and a U in there, but not in the more colorful version of that, perhaps. All right, now I'm starting to feel like we got a little light happening there. This little tombstone right here, that also needs to collect a bit of this. Hey Elite, how you doing? Now I do know that at least two of those figures from Atkins / specific, like 3 or 4 of them actually, are specifically chosen because of object source lighting possibilities. So don't be surprised if those are the ones that appear when we do our painting of those figures. Definitely a false Friday for sure. Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, today's Friday? Sure enough, didn't feel like it. So yeah, Kelly, I think you saw in the list there was lots of, well, you kind of had the mages. I think it was probably heavy on the mages. And I know there was the one demon. Oh gosh, I don't know if that one I have printed out yet, because I have a build plate made. I don't know if I have it printed out yet. But obviously, object source lighting possibilities there, right? Boy. Trying to generate, that's a little too dark there. Let's see if we can come back this way. Some of the, more of the fluorescent, there we go. And this is our, wherever that went, the homemade fluorescent blue. This was also one of our Patreon tutorial videos right there. No. Let's get some of this. Maybe a little more of the floral. Okay. So yeah, that was just too dark there. Couldn't be too dark. And now we're just gonna again cut down a little bit on the size of the lighter portion on that. What is that? Oh yeah, that's way too much of a hard edge there. Where's my other blending brush? Again, we're just gonna take this paper towel and just do something like that, and then I'm gonna come back in here and just soften that up slightly. Same thing over here. Same thing down here. That Prussian blue is just sitting there kind of on the edge, making a weird hard line. We don't want that. We need a little bit more of our light down here. Something like this. So Grand Oracle, it should be actually, boy, I don't know if you saw the first film noir that we did. It would actually, it's gonna look very interesting to say the least. And we didn't even have this much of the darks on there when I did it. Yeah, we didn't have this much, but look at that. You can kind of now really see those darkest areas. That's the Prussian blue. And we could still go a little darker if we put the indigo in there also. But right now, that's the Prussian blue is the darkest dark. Now, Bring it back, and you can already see some of the radiant turquoise taking effect. Now really more of it, but now you also start to see that difference in the reddishness of the Prussian blue. So the Prussian blue, a little bit more towards the red. Indigo is more towards the green. So if I'm going to do that in some of these areas, I have to realize, well, okay, it means I'm turning some parts of it back to more of a green. So yeah, actually, could you imagine? Well, I don't know. Maybe I have a bunch of the well, the Banshee figure. I don't have any more of the Spirit Host, but I have a bunch more of the Banshee figures, and maybe we could try and do one of those, but as a value study, and see what happens. Or we film it mostly in film noir, like we did Schmandorf. That's also a possibility. So here I'm thinking maybe some lighting on the hair. We gotta get our. I think that probably should catch some too. Maybe a little more light here. Now on this side, where's my indigo? You know what? I'm gonna do this. Okay, so it's more of a grayish blue there. Because this can't all just be a big mass of just dark there. I want to thin that down. Maybe even grab some of this green. It's the radiant green. Oh, I'll change this color around a little bit. On the tombstone here. So we don't want to go too light with this, because then again we'll lose our lighting effect. But let's see if we can go back now onto the headstone here and just get the lightest of lights. Let's see if that's going to work. Here. Some of that right here. More of that lightest light also down into here. So we're just going to take our brush and one brush stroke. That's it. Same thing over here. Boom. No way to do that. No way to do that if we have the death grip on the brush. You'll also notice if you stop doing the whole death grip on the brush thing, you're also going to know you just won't be as tired, you won't be as fatigued at the end of a session. Again, look at this, very delicate on the brush there. No loss of control, that's for sure. Look at this. My finger's not even in the picture, is it? Not even on camera. Oh, here's another part of this that probably should be later. Again, it says some kind of a statue head, I'm guessing, right here. Let's probably lighten that up some more. Maybe some more light down here. There also does come a point where, okay, in theory, would this be casting light elsewhere on the figure? Yeah, it would, but that's really more for something, say, like a Wappelius spell brush here, or maybe even this. Let me take a look at this here. Okay, so, yeah, that is casting light on this part of the figure, and also here, too, on the metal. So that made sense here, because only certain parts of this were flamed. And I just remember the first one of those I painted, I didn't realize that's what that was. I just thought it was supposed to be very dramatic long fur. And I realized afterwards, I said, oh, okay, that was supposed to be flame. Yeah, that's an arch-villain miniature. Really love the arch-villain figs. Months and months ago, I think like 2 months ago, I did print out some more of the, actually from this right here, those dire baths and such. I thought those would make for some really fun streams. Never did get a chance to try any object source lighting in that army painting series that we did. That was these guys here. I think they're right here. Where are they at? Ah, there we go. So yeah, that was, I think, Blood Rain, maybe the first version. So I printed against some more of these bats, and I think there you go. So it's the one that's on the left-hand side there. See, that's on that pillar. And I think there was 3 or 4 of those. There was one that actually was kind of hanging down off of an arch or something like that. Yeah, surface tension. It was kind of handy, these little bits right here, because I could actually put the object source lighting on those to, and it almost kind of reinforces the fact that this is sort of its own light source. Which is, well, ironically enough, now that's the reason I put these little flaming skelly friends on here, was to try and, well, have a reason for light source to be there. But this being here sort of tells the brain that, oh yeah, this is casting some kind of light. If it's casting it onto this thing. Now here, do I get more dark on that? Let me see if I can do some more darks on this thing here. Oh, here's my Van Dyke brown. We're going to take the Radiant Violet here. So that is much more of just a warm gray. That was the Dark Sword miniature, and actually that was where, believe it or not, using an actual genuine wet palette for the first time ever, and we were testing the Broken Anvil acrylics. So that was on this figure right here. For those that are new to the oil paints and you say, wow, they go on that miniature really, really weird. Yeah, the entire 2 hours of this video was saying the same thing. Wow, those acrylics go on there really, really weird. So if you're having a little bit of a schmizzle with the oils there, if you're new to them, just give yourself some time to adapt. Because here I can sit here all day with that blob of paint sitting on the end of the brush. If this were acrylics, it would have already dried completely by now. And you'll hear me say that once or twice or 1,000 times on that video. If there was a counter for every time I said, wow, that really dried fast, and if I got a nickel for each one of those, we would already have our own giant evil lair somewhere, a painting lair, which also would have plenty of space for gaming. Yes, indeed. Every game would be based on at least a D10 system or a 3D6 curve. It would be a magical place. Plenty of space for painting, of course. What about more of that's some of the indigo mixed in with the Prussian blue there, just to give it the extra little zip, a little extra dark here again. Some of the indigo on some of the ends. What about these fingers here? I think we're pretty well set on those. Might be just a couple of these parts of cloth that we darkened out just a smidge more. And eventually, I know people that are convinced that there's nothing but oil painting on the Patreon page. Well, that's not quite the case. Look, here's another very recent, and by recent I mean in the last month, where we did this Faramir diorama. That's all actually painted with those same acrylics. That's the new Broken Anvil colors, which are not released yet. So yes, those haven't been released yet. You're seeing them before anybody else if you watch those videos. There will be a name change pretty much on all the colors, I would imagine. The containers that I'm using are not the final containers. They were just sent out to some folks to try and really crash test those. So surface tension's got a soggy piece of toast. Now, of course, surface tension, was it done English style where the crusts were cut off? because Kathy is not a fan of crusts, and especially now, just given the certain, the kind of changes that happen to you when you're undergoing the treatments there, she's even less of a crust person. So I always, she just asks for it English style whenever she's going to have a sandwich or anything that involves bread. The crusts are cut off. At least according to Midsummer Murders. Yeah, surface tension, it's really more of a Midsummer Murders thing. So we just call that English style because every time you see, well, even on any of the mysteries, Poirot, whatever, all of the crusts are always cut off. You never see them eating crust. We're like, what? Do they just make bread with no crusts? How do you do that? And then where the heck do all of those crusts go after they cut them off? Let's throw some more of my... That's again some of the Prussian blue, a little bit of the indigo there. This could... you know what? We are going to throw a little more of a dark there. Where's my blending? We'll just use the micro blending brush here. So you see we just chucked that darker color on there. Now we're just going to take this again, a brush that has no paint on it. A little bit of tap, tap, tap. Now that's nice and smooth. I know people have asked, oh, do you use an airbrush with the oils? And we say, oh my gosh, that's just way too much of a hassle. Well, first of all, you don't want to be doing that. There's a lot of other issues that would happen with that. But there's just no need when all you need to do is what we just did right there. Basically just take a color, say plop. So we could even take a bigger blending brush here. We could take this one right here. I'm just going to make sure there's no paint on the end of it, or at least, yeah, there we go. So we're going to get rid of some of the paint on the end there. Where are we at? Here we are. So see, we got that light there. How's about we just do a little bit of tap, tap, tap. And that is smoother than any airbrush. No need to mask, no need to wear a mask, no need to have a ventilation thing going on, no need to clean an airbrush afterwards. Boy, Doji, I'm glad that, I mean, as exciting as it is to have those figures all prepped and stuff, hopefully being able to hang out here made it even a little bit more fun, because again, the prepping phase of things, it can get a little more tedious. And once again, I know Painterly Get blades. They're going to be taking part in the that little event right there. Well, a whole series of Twitch artists going to be painting the hack and slash miniatures. Why don't we lighten this up a little too? Yeah, let's lighten that up a bit. Ironically enough, again, the fast matte white that's down here in the interior, that is going to... It's actually going to dry faster than the Prussian blue out here. And the Army Painter Anti-Shine that we talked about, this is something I use all the time. Phthalo green is a color that can, well, either phthalo green or phthalo blue, they can dry kind of shiny. So that the Army Painter Anti-Shine use all these areas here with the phthalo green. They all had a little bit of a sheen to them. They weren't glossy, but just a bit of a sheen. Took it right down with the Anti-Shine. You brush just a tiny bit of that on there. That's all you need. I think even this one, what was with this one, actually, our Galadriel figure also needed some Anti-Shine. Maybe I must have got some phthalo green or something in there, but that was another one we hit with our Anti-Shine. Now, I do have a much larger version of this. That'll be probably painted for the Patreon page in a multi-part series. Yeah, Benchka, I just keep imagining, you know, the set of Midsummer. And what is it they call it? The, not the food, but whatever the food service is that they use. There's just crusts. There's a pile of crusts there. Oh, Mike Disney on Genuine Vision. Oh, and Tea Kettle. We've had Runic Raccoon raid not that long ago. Oh, and Dr. Rhino, of course. We've had the Doctor here many times for some house calls. Plenty of raids. There's some more there. Yeah, I'm gonna lighten that up a smidge there. Well, they sort of have a seam there. Not gonna really do that. I'll see you later there, Doji. Again, glad you're able to get some construction of some stuff done there. And a happy Saturday to you. So bench guy, so Scottish on both sides then. More of our fast matte white in here. And a touchdown there. Was thinking about, yes, I'm going to do that. Why not? Just going to throw some of that down in there. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit more. Now the face here, remember, technically the nose, the chin, those should actually be just as dark as, say, the fingers are. But sometimes you have to do things that are going to visually read instead of, well, everything else that's on the outer is all dark. I have to make the face dark, like the nose and the chin dark too. But if it starts looking really odd and you just suddenly can't see a nose or a chin, you back off a little bit like we did here. It's not like it's white, but it's got a little bit more of our mid-tone there. Some of that. Oh, we need some more over here too. That's just a little bit of that turquoise. That's the radiant turquoise, the opaque radiant turquoise. Now, of course, the lighter that gets, the less the eyes show up. Benchka, thank you so much for all the bits too. Again, those really, they help. I don't want to say every bit at a time helped, but they really do. That was, that's what, that other platform, whatever the heck it's called, I don't remember. But there's some new platform that, again, basically looks exactly like Twitch, except it's green instead of purple. And I guess they have a much bigger split to the content creator, something like 95 to 5 or something. Oh, that's fantastic there, bench guy. That is fantastic. What about a little more? There we go. A little bit more of a dark there. So yeah, surface tension. They must go somewhere. Because and it doesn't matter where they go, what they're doing. You will never see crusts on any of the sandwiches. I guess because usually kids have a tendency to not be fans of the crust. I know I was it when I was a kid, and then I'm not. Maybe Scout Camp is when that all changed. So, I'll darken that up too. So this right here, there's a little. So we got the light edge there. I don't know. Do we mess around with a little bit of our Prussian blue down here? Where's that blending brush? There's another one right here. Okay, a little bit of tap, tap, tap. There you go. Yeah, Ingane's And of course, once I started trying to make my own bread, and the crust is actually, I was going to have more of the little spicy bits and some of the other stuff that are added onto it. I actually kind of like the crust more. So surface tension says that we go to a garden party there. Of course, there will be killer orchids. People will be killing themselves over plants. There will be bird watchers or twitchers that are also murdering each other. I noticed that that's actually a crack right there, so that's why we just darken that down. So I'll tell Kathy that we are invited to a garden party in Wales. There will be no murders. There better not be a fate. There's surface tension. Because, yes, Midsummer puts the fatality into fate, into fates. Yeah, anytime there's a fate, at least, well, probably either the vicar's going to die or the vicar's going to be the murderer. Yes, those vicars, holy smokes. Oh, and you never know what's going to be happening there. Now, that's for sure surface tension. So here we got that light. I'm going to try. Let me see what happens if I do this. And then, where'd my blending brush go? Oh, I'll just use the small one here. Maybe that does work a little bit. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Now, I want to bring some of that dark further down. Again, this brush has no paint in it. I'm literally just taking this paint and I'm pulling it down that way. That's all I'm doing.